Hi everyone, and welcome to another Future Design Forum 10-minute Q&A fireside chat with myself, Andy Smith, the co-founder of TDA Creative, the design, tech and product talent agency. I'm delighted today to be joined by Dennis Van Huffel, who is currently a Senior Director B2B Experience Design at a financial services company. Dennis, thank you for joining us. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk with you.
Good. Well, look, we'll crack on with a few questions in a minute, but would you mind just giving us a brief introduction of yourself, your career to date, how you've kind of flown through to being the design leader you are now?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to. I started off with a degree in painting and drawing from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. And this was in the 90s. And I found my way to digital media, through
As we
a
called it back
series of
then.
events. Yeah, it was, and I did augment my education that I had at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago with a degree or a certificate from the Vancouver Film School.
Oh, brilliant.
So I did a crash course. Yeah, and it gave me a chance to move from Chicago to Vancouver, British Columbia, which was a really nice shift.
You're now down in Austin, aren't you?
I'm in Austin now. Yeah.
Cool. You lived in some cool places then. I like it.
Yeah, I've moved around a lot.
Right.
I think I'm going to be in Austin for a little while longer. My son is a sophomore in high school. And but we're excited for the next thing, whatever that might be.
Lovely.
But yeah, graduated from the Vancouver, got a certificate from the Vancouver Film School, and then moved to Los Angeles and launched my, digital career there. I started off working for LA.com, which was an online city guide that was owned by the Los Angeles newspaper group. Did that for quite a while. And then I made a friend there, and she called me out of the blue and she's like, hey, would you be interested in talking with these guys here at TMZ? And I said, what's TMZ? And she said, oh, it's a joint venture between Warner Brothers and AOL, and it's going to be a thing. And I said, sure. Yeah. So I went and talked with the leadership there, and kind of became the creative director. And
wow.
This was before, and this is TMZ, the online entertainment news website, and it became a TV show. But yeah, I just jumped into the fire and saw that from a hard Scrabble sort of like website to a very established website, and onto a TV show. So it was it was at the time the most successful
it married your education as well, didn't it? It brought it all together.
Yeah, if art school me wouldn't have imagined that I'd be working in entertainment news in Los Angeles for sure. I think that, dots connect, but, I was always like, when I was coming up and training as a painter, it was like, oh, I'll never live in LA. If anything, I'll just go to New York or something like that. And there I was, like, working in entertainment and, working for an entertainment news website, and, learning who these people like Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian and, all those folks were. It was fun. It was a wild ride. I wouldn't have imagined that for myself, but it happened. And then, it was a thing too, where, it was like 3 or 4, well, I was in LA for quite a while, but I was 3 or 4 years into TMZ, and then we had a young son, and it was, time for, to make a shift. And so we decided to move to Austin. And so, I jumped into consulting, and I was in consulting for about 15 years, UX leadership and things like that. I think a bulk of my time was at a consultancy here, Project 202, and then moved into product side, working in financial services, where I'm at now.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of your current role and past roles, I guess probably more so now than in consulting, but leadership, what do you enjoy most about it, design leadership?
I enjoy working with the people, I think the most. The outcomes and the outputs are a result of a journey. And I've been really fortunate in my career to work with strong leaders that have given me a lot of autonomy and space, like safe space, to test myself and grow and mature and evolve as a designer. And I see that happen by way of, people helping me to create frameworks for myself and things like that, that help me to, set me up for success. And that's what I like to do for people. I'm, squarely in the point in my career where it's like, I really enjoy and it's a joy to design things and create
Yeah.
things and bring things to life. It's even better to enable people and empower people, that same thing, to create space for people to come up and, be the next big thing, and hopefully, do the best work of their careers and have a
Yeah.
great, story to tell along the way. So I think that, I see my role as creating, safe spaces for people to take big swings and feel empowered
Great.
and really understand that they provide value by way of their perspective and point of view.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And during that journey, what would you say are some of the biggest lessons you've learned around design leadership, and perhaps on the same token, advice you could give to aspiring design leaders out there?
Yeah, sure. It's it's a constant negotiation. It's a balance of tensions when you think about the goals of the business, the timelines, the milestones, the feasibility of the technologies. I think that it's really important to understand that, design is often one part of a bigger whole, and that it's important to, remember that it's a team sport, and it's not just your design team, but it's also your product partners, and it's your business partners, and it's your leadership. So you just have to make sure, and I think that these are healthy tensions to balance because you get the best outcomes.
Yeah.
But I do think that doubling down on building relationships and establishing relationships that have resiliency and trust and authenticity are really important, and where I spend a lot of time of my day to day.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And when bringing designers into your team, and not necessarily, junior, mid-level, senior, at any level, how do you like to see work presented in terms of portfolio? Do you like to see online websites, or do you like PDF case studies? And what do you look for in those? Are there any things that you really gravitate to quite quickly when hiring?
Yeah. Some sort of online presence website is just a must-have, these days, especially when you're reviewing a series of portfolios and things like that. You do start to see a lot of sameness in the way that things are presented. So I do look for different ways that people come at presenting their work and whatnot.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm really interested in seeing a demonstration of process and understand how people worked, how they work to get to a certain solution or idea.
Yeah.
I like those sort of low fidelity foundational artifacts that establish direction, and seeing how people organize themselves around the work to be done is really great to see.
Right.
We live and die by plans, and so understanding that a designer has or can work with somebody or has the stuff to think about, like, well, I'm going to create a plan for myself, and a lot of portfolios focus on sort of the what. I like to see the how and see what they did to get to there.
And when I'm doing my kind of day job of talent recruitment, we'll often advise a designer to maybe share, one or two case studies that are kind of relevant, that could really show the journey and the iteration of thinking to the role you may be applying for. And sometimes I'll be honest, I've said, look, your website shows a lot of dated older work. I wouldn't advise showing that. From what you said, do you actually like to see that? You obviously know it's dated, when it was done. Do you like to look at some of the older work?
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as it's quality, I
Yeah,
think, and if it exists within a larger body of work that's cohesive, I think it makes sense. If I was listening to like an artist, I was like, well, I'm going to go back and listen to their early work to
yeah, right.
understand, how
Yeah,
it informs their newer work. So I feel like
yeah,
there's some validity in it.
yeah,
If I see somebody that hasn't updated anything since, 2007 or something like that, it's like, well, it's
yeah,
probably a flag. But I think
yeah,
that there's legitimate good work that could, be somewhat long in the tooth, but still be really interesting and
yeah.
compelling and tell a story.
In the context of, when it was done and where it was done.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
you have to appreciate it for the time that it was done, and there
Yeah,
could be some, big ideas and insights in there that are really interesting, and yeah,
yeah,
in
good.
in in, in charge the work.
Yeah, I like that. And
That's a good question, though.
talking about past work, let's talk about the future slightly.
Mhm.
What in terms of design roles, where do you see them perhaps maturing to complement and work with our great friend AI?
Yeah, I'm wrapping my head around that,
Million dollar
and
question, I know. I'm not. This
yeah,
isn't. I'm not. You're not getting a tickle across against this one. It's just interested in your thoughts.
yeah. And thank you for that question. I feel like it's so emergent, and I think that a lot of things can be speculatory and whatnot, but I think that there's I think that there's going to be more and more um like interaction paradigms that resemble like ChatGPT and Claude and things like that, where people are using like natural language sort of model interaction workflows that are like, I'm going to ask a question and get an answer back kind of thing. And I think that I can see as place in um, enterprise experiences where we'll begin to adopt this. I don't know what and how it quite looks like, but I feel like it's going to provide richer experiences and probably tie into enabling more personalization.
Yeah.
And we talk about personalization a lot in terms of like, how can we make this more personal? And I think that that's probably a vehicle toward that. I think that there's going to be people that are thinking about the ethical concerns around AI quite a bit, and making sure that now that the genie is out of the bottle, how are we going to wrangle it and control it, and to the best that we can, to make sure that the work done is responsible.
Yeah.
I think in some sectors,
Yeah.
in other cases, just like it'll be a fire ant mentality where it's like, let's just grow,
Yeah.
let's just do this. And but
But
I think both things can be true.
yeah, I guess the message is, look, it's not all challenges, right? There's a lot of opportunities there as well. But we're just
Yeah,
got to see how the land lies.
100%. And I'm really interested in um, what artists are going to do with it. This idea of being able to really collaborate with these AI systems and thinking and managing and refining different kind of outputs. Then maybe this is more about artistic expression rather than design, but it's just how does this become a natural extension tool of like human creativity?
Yeah.
It's not so much and I tell my team, it's like, don't think inside the tool. That's why I like going back to sketching and things like that. It's like, because you be working within a tool, there's a bias. And I think that it's like, let's remember this is a tool towards something else, or this is a tool to create something, not necessarily the the tool is not the end. And
Yeah.
I think that, it's so new and it's novel and things like that, but I think that it's going to be really interesting to see, as I was saying, like how artists begin to lead the way and how we take cues from the artists
Okay.
to
Nice
think about
point.
how we use it day to day.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. And look, some great chat there. I really appreciate it. But finishing off, my always slightly left field curveball question. Could you please tell us all something about yourself that few people know?
Yeah. How about I tell you two things?
Go on then. Shoot
All
away.
right. So I don't think this is on my LinkedIn profile, but coming out of college and when I was figuring out what I was going to be doing, I ended up living in Minnesota and ended up working for Prince. And so,
Wow.
yeah, I worked in production out at Paisley Park Studios. And so I was out there in support of the Gold Experience when he was launching that project. My brother was his art director, so
Wow. Okay.
that was my point of entry. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We built sets out of his guitars. I remember I was walking in the back, the backstage, and I think he was up on a catwalk, and I was carrying the cymbal guitar, and like my fingers just like lightly grazed the strings, and I got like stink eye, like I knew my place. It's
I
like
love that.
the guitar was worth more than me for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
And
Great.
but yeah, the other thing is I launched a singer-songwriter thing myself a few years ago, and the first thing that I put out got picked up by Sun Radio here in Austin, Texas, and I've actually just released something today. It's called the Wonder Twins. So if you remember
Okay.
your Saturday morning cartoons, it's not like that, but
Right.
it definitely references Zan and Jane.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I record under DH Van Huffel, Spotify and Apple Music and that sort of thing. So it's
Great.
been, I think one of the things that that led me to this was to find ways to sort of creatively restore myself. I love being a design leader and a manager and things like that, but you need to find things that recharge your own creative batteries.
Yeah.
And jumping into the singing songwriting thing was that for me. Definitely
Brilliant.
scratched an itch.
Good for you. Good for you. That's fantastic. And that's a great answer to the few things that people know about yourself. Thank you for that. And look, thank you for joining me. Thanks for the great content, the great chat. I really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in more TDA talks and events that we hold in the future, Dennis.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
conversation. It's a great way to end the week.
See you soon. Cheers.
See ya.